I don't like being blamed for Morgan's anxiety.
It's time to take A Therapeutic Dose, a prescription-strength reality TV podcast that explores the intersection of reality TV and therapy. Possible side effects may include entertainment, strong emotional reactions, and/or laughter. Here are your hosts, Ramona Ramirez and Margie McGee.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to A Therapeutic Dose, where we meet at the intersection of reality TV and therapy. I am Margie McGee, and with me, as always, is my dear friend and co-host.
Hello, I am Ramona Ramirez. I'm really glad to be here. Margie just had the giggles. My voice is 5 seconds from crapping the bed. And we're stoked. We're coming to you a few days later because I just got back a few hours ago from spring break trip to Disneyland. And I'm exhausted. Knowing I was going to see you this afternoon, maybe I'll avoid that trip come down because I get to chat with a friend for an hour or so, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, unfortunately, we have to talk about Kyle.
Dude.
We can keep this real short and just say Kyle sucks.
Kyle
and
sucks.
Call it a day.
Kyle sucks. She's a hypocrite. She's infuriating. How can she not watch herself week after week? You know, she says oh no, I haven't watched. And maybe that's true. Maybe she's so scared to see herself, but also how could you not see yourself? How could you not watch yourself week after week for 17, 18 weeks and not just be like, oh my fucking God, I'm a monster. I'm a terrible, terrible person that needs to change. I don't
Yeah.
know.
And I'm so sick in the head that I was like, well, maybe after she watches this reunion, she'll figure it out. Because it's ridiculous. That whole Morgan section, I was like, she's got to get it now, right? Her boss is yelling at her. Everyone's fed up.
Interrupt, when Dorit was trying to get a word in while Kyle was talking. Can I talk? Can I talk?
It's
Can
my
I
turn
finish?
to talk.
Can I finish? But then as soon as Dorit is saying something back to her, she's like, but. She's my least favorite, one of my top 3 worst kinds of people for me. I don't know how coherent I'm going to be. I just want to make
made
that
sense.
disclaimer. I'm not sure.
Well, we can just get into it.
Let's do it.
We come into this, part 2 of the reunion.
Yeah, this is the
Yes.
Real Housewives of Beverly Hills reunion episode, installment 2.
And we come back and everyone's on their lunch break and we see Jennifer Tilly arrive and she immediately sits down and orders a coffee and a maple donut. And then we touch base with Garcelle and Sutton. And that, again, let's recall that Garcelle just had her ass handed to her and she's feeling like shit. And her, in theory, best friend is sitting on the couch next to her. Whatever. I would expectations are what? The express way to resentment or some shit.
Premeditated
Premeditated resentment. That's what it is. But still, Garcelle says you can't trust any of them. And she's obviously still feeling really down after the beat up job she just took. And Sutton's
She was
response
pulverized
is,
out there. She was pulverized.
and she really wasn't prepared in any way. She was not expecting to get that much heat. And Sutton, instead of being sympathetic to her friends, just says, I didn't know Kyle was so angry. And it was like, what?
Dude.
She's fixated on Kyle. She
Completely.
and Erica are both fixated on Kyle. And it was gross.
It's disgusting.
Yeah, it's just
It is.
weird. It's creepy. It makes no sense. I just was getting caught in how nonsensical everyone's takes were. Just Kyle, every defense and explanation she gave was just stupid. I was like, don't say stupid shit. Just keep your mouth shut or cop to your faults or just shut up.
Don't say stupid shit. Don't say stupid shit.
I think that was a
say
line
stupid shit.
from, what was that time? Is the Flat Circle show? True Detective.
Okay.
I think it was Woody Harrelson who's like, I want you to stop saying stupid shit.
Dude.
Anyways.
Words to live by.
Right?
Oh my God.
Kyle.
Yeah.
Then we check in with Kathy Hilton in Glam.
Oh my
and
God.
we get a shot of her feet being massaged, which I definitely did not need. And her Glam team is doing her up and asking how she's feeling. And she comments on the chicken that she had for lunch. She's just she's a nutbag, but not in an endearing way at all. I was just
No.
annoyed by her. I was like, man, like either clock in for this or just don't come. You don't got to do this.
I I have to wonder again if she is in on her own joke.
I
Like,
hope
I
she's
don't
that
find
smart.
her clever. Right. Exactly. That's the thing. Yeah. Also, just want to make a note. Margie took the notes this week. So I I watched the episode. It infuriated me. My my infuriatedness, my my fury took me out. Like I was so mad at Kyle that I had to rewind it often after she said something particularly infuriating. So because I I took it so personally. I was so offended by her cognitive dissonance that it literally took me out of the moment. To feel palpably infuriated by a housewife it's humbling. But again, I am tired. I am not hungry. I'm not angry. I'm not lonely, but I am very tired. And when you're in 12-step rooms, they teach you about halt and that you're not in your right mind when you're in halt. I was a little more susceptible to Kyle. My point is, Margie, you took amazing notes. They're so neat and succinct. You refer to them as tent poles. It's great. But I may not have anything of substance to add
That's not true. Why would you say that?
because
And also this
I,
segment, it whether you're hungry, angry, lonely, and tired or not, this was just an exhausting hour of Kyle
yeah,
being an idiot. You know, the reunion it could have been two parts because this whole
I
part
agree.
was just rehashing and rehashing and rehashing of things that Kyle will never see, even though she uses the words, I'll see this from a different perspective. No, you won't.
No, you won't.
She just keeps turning it on everyone else. She's like, I know you are, but what am I? Kind of like,
Completely.
ugh, it's just so
Completely. So did
gross.
I. So did I. So did I. I did too.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And then when pressed on like, "Oh, how did you feel like that?" Or she can't come up with any
Mm-mm.
specifics. She was stuttering all over the place. And that went on for the whole hour, but not before we saw Kathy Hilton's feet. So
Oh,
great.
damn it.
Thanks for that gift. Then we're on stage and everyone is reconvening. And then Garcelle asks Sutton how annoyed she looks. She goes, "Because I'm very annoyed."
Hmm.
Yeah, then she sort of gives this cryptic statement. She says it's better to speak your truth now than to have them come back later with some other shit. So I'm guessing Garcelle's going to speak her piece, and it appears she makes it all the way to the end of the reunion and then
Mm-hmm.
walks off
Mm-hmm.
when they're making the toast.
She's the only one on this stage that seems like they are 100% clocked into reality and 100% honest. I'm not saying she's perfect. I'm not saying she's not a fallible human being, but she is honest.
I
She's,
think Bose is too.
I think Bose is too. I still think that she's a little too Doriti, but she also does say that, yes, Bose is too. Bose is too. Maybe it's just that, I don't know. Garcelle isn't necessarily like Bose seems to be like sticking up for people where they might not need a champion or a cheerleader or an aide in that moment. And I think that read to me as a little bit of kiss assy, whereas Garcelle is just, I don't know, maybe she's just there to fulfill her contract. She's not clocking it in, but she's absolutely just being honest and humble and over
Yeah.
it. Do you know what I
I
mean?
think it's less humble and I think it is more clocking in and over it. I think
Interesting.
when she
Okay.
came back from lunch, she was like, I'm done.
Yeah.
Because at one point she opens up a conversation with Kyle and then it's just like, okay.
Yeah.
When she
Yeah.
should have fought back and like Kyle
I
was
have a
clearly
note about that.
lying.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah. Yeah. Mhm.
then we head into the Kyle and Morgan conversation that's very long and very circular. Andy prompts Garcelle saying, was there something you wanted to say? And Garcelle tells Kyle that she felt the conversations they had together off camera were had in an attempt to manipulate her. And Kyle bullshits. And does anybody buy this? Kyle saying, "Oh, that was me just trusting and sharing and getting to a deeper level of friendship with you." It's like, what?
I was infuriated.
Such a
I took that
lie.
personally as well. It was
Ugh.
such a lie. You could see the lies happening in real time. And if you can't, I don't know what's wrong with you. Oh, see, I'm tired and I'm going to say things in a real shitty way. I don't say what's wrong with you in my real right mind, but I would have to say, what's wrong with you if you can't see that she's literally bullshitting on the spot? It was disgusting. And Garcelle deserves more respect than that. And
And
it
this,
was 100% manipulative what she was
yeah,
doing.
of course it was. She would never have a conversation with anyone off camera. She would never give up her time like that unless she had something she wanted to gain and had an agenda.
Hmm.
And this is when Garcelle is just too tired to fight. And she just goes, okay.
I think this part again. I noticed this. I don't remember if it was maybe it was just last week in the first part of the reunion, or maybe she did it sometime in the season. But I wonder if she's gone to some Al-Anon meetings
Who?
because Garcelle.
Mm.
Because again, you're instructed, you're invited, however you want to phrase it, when you are engaging with a dry drunk or a drunk who is drunk and they are arguing with you, there's no way you're going to win. There's no reasoning with someone when they're in that state. So you are invited to just say, okay, or okay, I agree. Okay, sure. Like you don't even have to really agree with them, but it's a way to de-escalate or stop an escalation from happening. Garcelle, it's basically you realize you can't do anything to change this person's mind. They are not in it to be honest or open. Garcelle recognized that Kyle is not open. She's not open. She's there to survive. She's there to survive by any means necessary. Kyle is. And she'll do it by manipulating and trying to bullshit people and lying, which is all under the umbrella of manipulating, I guess. And Garcelle knew, what's the point? Okay. Okay.
I think
You
Garcelle
know?
knows she's leaving. So she's like, I'm not going to give my energy to
Yeah.
this. This is
Yeah.
stupid. Because
Yeah.
it is. Kyle's been doing the same behavior for 14 years or whatever. And, yeah, she's known for her manipulations. That's why everyone is scared of her because she gets people fired. I
Oh,
think that's
God,
why
you're
Erica is so
right.
far up her ass in this reunion because
You're
Erica
right.
needs the fucking money because she's about to start a bunch of lawsuits that she's going to lose. So she needs a
God.
job. And then Andy, starting to get snarky, goes, were those conversations off camera about she who cannot be named? And then Garcelle confirms that, yes, it was about Morgan. And then we have that stupid flashback of Kyle suddenly out of nowhere after all last season being about Morgan, centered in every single scene that Kyle was in. Suddenly, she won't say her name on camera and claims it's not my place to talk about other people. And I'm like, what? All you do is talk about everyone. You talk
Yeah.
shit about your husband, about Dorit, this is just absurd. I couldn't even.
Yeah. Yeah.
She has no problem talking about people. So to me, it's just another way to bypass the reality of that relationship. I think they are in a romantic relationship or intimate
100%.
relationship because otherwise but it's
100%.
all just so, oh God, it's
And
so
also, like,
stupid.
oh my God, I'm gripping my pen right now. Like I have to defend myself in a real live human fight with someone for my life. I'm gonna put my pen down and give my fingers a rest. I don't remember which season it was. Was it 2 or 3 seasons ago when maybe it was just 2 when Denise Richards was back and Kim brought Brandy over because remember there were these rumblings or rumors. Did Brandy start it that she and Denise hooked up? Brandy was involved in some terrible, malevolent mishigas about Denise and she maybe hooking up. To have Kyle be on this side where she is in a romantic relationship with a woman and is offended by the speculation when it was Kyle orchestrating that meeting that took place in, I want to say, her bedroom of all
Mhm.
places. Do you remember this?
100%. Yeah.
Full hip exhibit 5,280 million. Like,
And I think that was when they gathered there on their way to the dinner where they blew up Denise at
yes.
the dinner. It was just all so orchestrated and disgusting and
Oh, God.
unkind and probably and not nearly as true. Like I imagine maybe they hooked up or something just in like a fun drunken moment. But Kyle, now it's been years. It's been 3 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like this is to say like we can't say her name and we have to pretend she doesn't exist.
Oh,
Whatever.
my
We've talked
God.
about this literally every episode. I think that's why this episode of the reunion, I was like, give it a rest,
Yeah.
lady. I'm tired of thinking about it. Who
Oh, God.
cares?
Yes. So when Andy came at her, I was palpably physical reaction in my body. Like, yes, yes, fucking finally. Like Andy Cohen, of all people, he's saying what we're all saying. Like, what do you say to people who say, you're on a reality show and you're supposed to tell us everything? And like you said, Kyle spins more bullshit about protecting those that she loves. If it's going to hurt someone I love and care about, I don't care. What? What?
Yeah.
And was this the part where he brought up the video that I always talk about in every fucking episode, or was that
No,
later
that
on?
comes later. I mean, this is like
Okay.
the longest segment to say one thing, which is like
Yeah.
you're dating Morgan and it's annoying that you won't talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bose pipes in next to say that it's okay if you just said, I'm not going to share about my intimate relationship on camera, but to pretend that you're sharing and to try to get us to go along with like, oh, yeah, sure, she's telling us everything is insane and manipulative and infantilizing and shitty. And then Kyle, again, she's just all over the place. She tries to deflect this by saying, well, I could have not said anything at all, like a lot of people do up here. And I was
Oh
like,
my God.
but you didn't say anything at all. What you said was, I'm not going to say anything at all. So what?
And that's something Garcelle would never do. I know, like, Garcelle is not in this particular tete-a-tete, but I'm just painting a picture again that no one needs me to paint for them because it's obvious. But it's like Garcelle would never say, I could have not said anything. Like a lot of people here, like it's embarrassing. I am humiliated. I guess I got Kyle's fucking portion of humiliation, the ability to feel humiliation. I'm secondhand embarrassed for her. How can she not be embarrassed for herself? How can
And
she not?
she's like flailing. You know, when someone like that's what I find so fascinating about watching Dorit is she's so grounded and centered. Same with Bose, same with Garcelle. Like when you're telling the truth, you're not flailing around and acting crazy. And Kyle is just like
Mm.
spinning in every direction that her head turns to try and swat away the accusations because they're true and they're not even accusations. It's literally, it's what Bose is saying. Like, just say you're not willing to do your job, dude, instead of making us pretend like you're doing your job. When we all read Us Weekly, we see you. Like, what are you talking about?
Oh my
It's
God.
insane.
It's insane. I'm a girl's girl. No. Anyway, we'll get there. We'll get there.
Then we touch, Andy mentions that Dorit has said that Kyle has 2 sets of rules, one for everybody else and one for Dorit. And this is where Kyle goes, I also feel like that. Me too.
Oh my God.
And then Dorit asks her, like, how on earth do you feel like that? And she can't back it up. She's like, Kyle tries to say that Dorit lets things slide with Erica and not with her. And Dorit, in a very therapized way, keeps the focus on the conversation at hand, which is the one between her and Kyle. Erica is not relevant in this discussion. So she's like, when have I ever held a grudge with you? Ever? And Kyle can't answer it because there's not a time.
And
Dorit says, yeah, go ahead.
no, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I fucking
There's
pulled a Kyle right
nothing
now.
more to say. No, it's literally the same conversation we're going to have till the end of this dumb episode.
When Dorit and Erica were at the spa way back in the beginning of the season, or I don't know, like after a few episodes had aired. No, it was after the wellness day. She did call Erica out. She's like, come on, dude. If you had, I don't even remember what they were talking about right now, but basically if it was like, if you had been me, wouldn't you have felt XYZ? And Erica was like, yeah. Like there was no other way to answer it. my point of that is that she does call Erica out. You know,
Dorit?
Dorit, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
this season especially, she's just been, yeah. Then Erica does the weirdest thing ever and tries to get the blame back on Dorit. I feel like Erica and Kyle had a strategy session before this reunion, and
Oh.
I feel like they came up with some really weird ideas and they did not play organically at all. Because out of nowhere, Erica goes, all I know is I thought I was going to have PTSD, wondering if anyone was going to come in my dressing room and show me a text,
Oh my God.
which is the text that Dorit showed to Erica last year prior to the reunion, where Kyle, after ignoring her for more than 4 months, sent her a text right before the reunion to be clear about what she should and should not talk about on the air, you know, in her manipulative language. But as Erica agreed, we all see it. It was controlling and it was manipulative and it was bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
But now Erica has PTSD from that moment because
That
she's
made
so
me
far
so
up
mad.
Kyle's ass. Stupid.
She's so fucking flippant about shit. Now listen, I'm not saying like I there's a lot of discourse in the mental health subreddits I'm in. My God, I talk about Reddit a whole lot. I did not get to go on Reddit as often as I would have liked to because I was so busy the last couple of days.
What a
And
gift.
like, I know it was a gift.
Yeah,
It
to
was
be
a
at
gift.
Disneyland with your kid?
Yes, it
Screw
was.
Reddit.
It was. You're right. Absolutely screw Reddit. You're right. You're right. It's so comforting though to scroll. Oh my God. My point is though, a lot of people are like, oh my God, I'm sorry. I just have a little bit of OCD. It's like the people that have legitimate OCD, that's offensive to them. Like someone that's like, I'm a little bit ADHD. Like to me, it can be a little bit offensive. And so that conversation is happening in some of the mental health subreddits I'm in. Does that make sense?
Wait, Erica said she has OCD?
But Erica said that she had PTSD.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
You know, I have a little bit of PTSD. I'm not here to gatekeep fucking mental health diagnoses, okay? I'm not. But at the same time, don't fucking say you have PTSD. Am I going too woke? Am I going to like
No, I mean, I'm just thinking like I've definitely used it flippantly before.
I
like
know,
that, you know,
I
like,
know.
you know,
Maybe I'm just
but
I
but
hate her
think
and I'm looking for any reason
exactly.
to
I was
like
just gonna say, I think it's probably the source, maybe
okay,
more than the
yes,
material.
you're right.
But
I am going to cop to that.
I
Kyle,
don't know.
that's what you do.
I
That's what you
don't
do.
know. I went quiet because I was like, ooh, do I need to think about
No,
revisiting how
but see,
I
that's the
use that?
thing. You did
Oh,
think about it instead of
them.
just like
For
for them, for them. Instead of just, like Kyle, no, I didn't mean like that. Or what would Erica say? Oh, you can't take a joke? In her Temu version of fucking Mae West? I don't know.
Something happened to Erica in this segment of the reunion where it looked like every time they cut back to her, it looked like gravity was pushing on her more and more. Like her neck
Interesting.
kept getting shorter and she kept shrinking into her dress. Like it was really weird.
I didn't
Because she
notice
came
that.
out so statuesque and like gorgeous in that gold number. And then all of a sudden I was like, why are her boobs and her chin touching? Like, what's going on?
Maybe the dress was pissed off that its creator had been thrown under the bus so callously
Yeah.
earlier in the day when Erica's like, oh, some designer made it. Fuck you, Erica. Sink
Yeah.
all the way into that couch.
It's trying to creep off her body.
I am unhinged right now. I apologize.
Speaking of
I'm doing
things
my
trying
best.
to creep off in a way, I don't know if I made notes of this, but my favorite parts, plural, of this segment of the reunion was when Kyle's amethyst leapt off of its
Oh my God.
leapt off of its placement on the set to get the fuck away from her. It was amazing.
It was incredible. It was incredible. Those crystals were doing like, please
was
get me away.
amazing.
She is not using me for my intention.
And,
She
like,
does not get it.
once is nothing, twice is a pattern. That thing was trying to get away.
Dude,
It was
seriously.
like, this is toxic. I can't. And it had been charged outside all day and it didn't have enough positivity to sit next to Kyle Richards. So
3 times. I mean, seriously. Yeah, it was
amazing.
crazy. I loved it. I loved it.
Me too. Okay. So Dorit stands by reading by the text. She said Kyle had diminished their friendship publicly. I think that was the infamous Amazon Live, "We were never really that close"
My
comment.
God.
And Dorit says there were no more rules. You couldn't have gone any lower. And Dorit apparently had reached out to Kyle on her birthday and never heard a thing back. So she just assumed that they were no longer friends because Kyle had said so in a public declaration, and also because she couldn't get a response from her former friend. So
Yeah.
whatever.
And again, she, all season, we saw her say, I know her so well. I know her so well. Our families were close, blah, blah, blah. But then at Amazon Live, we're not as good as friends as Dorit claims. When she visits Bose, the day Bose had surgery and was recovering, and Kyle came over under the guise of checking on her friend when she was really there to talk shit about Dorit, she's like, well, Dorit and I aren't that close. She's diabolical. She's diabolical.
She is. She's
That
like,
Crystal don't want to be around diabolical energy.
no, that Crystal had the right idea. That's how I feel watching her talk. I'm like, I want to get away from this
Yeah.
because it's scary. The whole, I mean, it started with the crystals when I was like, who is Kyle? Why are we supposed to believe that she's putting her crystals out to charge? Like, and we're all just supposed to like shrug and go along with that. Like, that's new. Are we not going to address that? No. Okay. Great.
Faye Resnick is one of her best friends. Period. End of story.
Lord. Yeah.
You are the company you keep.
Yeah.
I am a righteous bitch right now. I'm tired. I'm using that as my excuse. I'm being
I
Kyle
mean,
right now. I'm saying terrible things and I'm using the excuse that I'm a tired.
no.
I'm a tired.
Well, there you go. You are tired. No, and I feel like if next week, if I held your feet to the fire, you would have a conversation about it instead of being like, no, you are. You were
Oh my
tired.
God. Absolutely.
You said
Margie,
bad things.
if you ever brought something up to me, I would, out of my respect and love and trust for you, of your judgment, of your character, I would absolutely look at myself,
Likewise.
you know,
Yeah.
100%.
Not this bitch.
No.
And then Kyle then justifies not contacting Dorit because of a comment Dorit had made on Watch What Happened Live that Kyle, I believe, had previously said didn't bother her, but now she's saying that it bothered her when Dorit was asked the question, how has Kyle's new friendship with Morgan affected your friendship with her? And Dorit had a very benign and expected answer. The closer Kyle and Morgan got, the farther apart we drifted. So and Kyle's like, that was a dig. And I was like, I really don't know how. And I pride myself on being able to, like, even if I disagree, being able to see it from the other person's perspective. I do not understand how that's a dig. That's Dorit's experience. And it's a direct answer to the question. What's the problem? I'm so confused. This exhausted me.
You've done that all season with aplomb, friend. Like you've been like, even if I don't understand something, I still like you still would try to see it from, like again, when we had many conversations about Dorit and I was always like, rah, rah, rah. And you're like, well, but XYZ. And I was like, oh, you know what? That's a very good point.
This was not that, because I was like,
No.
how is that a dig? Nothing is the matter. Nobody went, ooh, nobody cares. It's like the expected outcome when anyone gets together with a new partner,
I
they
was gonna
disappear a little bit. What's the
Yeah.
problem?
Yeah,
This isn't
exactly.
news. This is
No.
life.
Oh, she just can't. Oh, okay. So Kyle, here's what I'm going to say to you then. If I see you, I'm going to be like, oh my God, Kyle, I couldn't wait to meet you. You know why? Because you're perfect.
She sure thinks she is. She
You're
is
so
dug
perfect.
in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ugh.
No room for improvement. Why do you even see Dr. Jamie? You should just save your money. You should save your money for more microscopic tattoos and
I mean,
shitty handbags,
I don't
bad
know.
tendril hair. Go on. Crystals that want to run away from you.
Jumping, leaping to get some distance.
I'm done. Yeah.
Then
dig.
Dorit explains, which I thought was interesting, that the last time she had really hung out with Kyle was at a dinner with Morgan in London for Mauricio's birthday. So it was PK, Dorit, Kyle, Mauricio, and Morgan.
Oh my God.
And they showed a picture. Anyways, and then somehow after that, Kyle started distancing herself from Dorit. And I don't know if that was intended to like throw shade at Morgan. Like, was that saying that Morgan might have orchestrated that separation? I couldn't make sense of it. I couldn't make sense of anything. At this point, my brain was just a pile of sand.
I think it was just that, like, you can't have that and then come and do this.
Mm.
Like, you can't have Morgan at your husband's birthday dinner across the fucking ocean, one of them, the Atlantic, yes, across a country and then an ocean. And then come on and be like, oh my God, we have to be private. I have to respect her, like.
Well, and also
Yeah.
say I'm not friends with Dorit. Oh, really? Because you guys
Yeah.
met up in
Yes,
London for
yes.
for your husband's birthday with your girlfriend. Like,
Right.
it seems like that's something that only someone close in your life would be invited
Yeah.
to be a part of. But what do I know?
She can't keep, you're right, Margie. When you're not honest, you flail, and she can't keep track of her bullshit. She cannot keep track of her lies. She doesn't get to do that, to have a dinner with her new lover and her separated husband
For his birthday.
for
It's not
his
just like a
birthday,
random
right?
dinner. It's like this is an occasion that special people are usually a part of.
Yeah, and then be like, oh, I don't want to be talked to. I don't want to talk about this like this. I don't want to. And also, that isn't, yeah, it is an intimate celebration. It's not like she didn't invite her other castmates to go. She didn't invite Lisa Rinna and Harry Hamlin to go. She invited Dorit and PK to go to that dinner. Or Mauricio did, but still, that shows how close they are. We've talked
And
about this for too long.
I
don't
know.
know.
It's all so infuriating.
It's
And then
infuriating.
Kyle now tries for 1 second to backpedal and she goes, okay, I'm trying to look at this from a different perspective now. And it's like, oh, so you're caught completely. And so you're going to use that language, but then you're not going to look at it in a different perspective at all. You're just going to justify why you were a bitch by saying, I guess that I knew that Morgan had nothing to do with me pulling away. And then she says the comment that Dorit had made on Watch What Happens Live caused another issue. I don't know what that was or what that means. And then she makes another hard left and says, I do apologize. And it's like, well, then why did you just put us through this whole segment? I'm exhausted just for you to come to, I apologize. I don't believe you. And I'm annoyed. And you just want this to be over. And in fairness, I do too. So now I'm Garcelle. And I'm just like, okay.
Yeah. And that's
give up.
why she said, I do apologize, is because she was probably like, oh, I got caught. I can't spin this straw into gold. This straw is just going to be more straw. This is nothing. I have no leg to stand on. This tendril is going to run flat. This tendril ain't going to hold its curl.
Well, she's going to try by
Yeah.
saying that Kyle feels guilty about bringing poor Morgan onto the show because it caused her anxiety. And again, last I checked, Morgan had to sign paperwork and get paid for her appearances all throughout last season, all throughout it. So I'm confused by that. And I'm so sorry that Morgan's experiencing anxiety for putting herself on a public platform and being surprised that there's feedback. Either do your research or learn the hard way and lick your wounds and move the fuck on. But don't be a controlling psycho and tell your twice your age girlfriend to keep your name out my mouth. Like, what are you doing? I'm sorry, but am I wrong? Kyle's 56, Morgan is 29.
I don't know. I don't know how old Morgan is, but
I don't know what is going on between those two, but something is weird. I don't understand why Kyle is so. Maybe it has something to do with it would affect her divorce settlement. I don't know what the fuck. But
I don't know
you're
what the
not
appeal
hiding
of-
anything well.
What's the appeal of being with Kyle Richards? What
I
is the
mean,
appeal
she's-
of that? Like, even superficially, I don't understand what the appeal is.
But they have a chemistry. Like, what's sad is that they were cute together on screen. I was happy
were.
for both of them because they were giddy and excited. Well, they're in love. It's not rational. It's not about breaking down everyone's symmetry and what they look like. It's a chemical thing, and they have it. And I thought that was like cute and fun to see her come to life after being so fucking miserable with Mauricio. It was lovely. And now we're being told that didn't happen. You didn't see that. She doesn't exist. You give her anxiety by watching her and asking questions about her. It's like, what? What is happening? I don't like being blamed for Morgan's anxiety. And as Andy points out, she's a public figure. She tours and sings on giant stages. She's, and he says, and that comes with speculation about your life.
See, this is how much I let my distaste for Kyle cloud things. Like, you're like, it was cute. She was happy, and I was happy to see her happy. I can't stand her, so I just thought she was annoying. And I wasn't happy seeing them happy. I don't think Kyle, oh God, I don't think Kyle deserves happiness until she cleans up her shit. If I see Garcelle acting giddy in love, I'm going to be so fucking stoked. You know what I mean?
But no one
I,
deserves it. Someone at the end, I think it was Dorit, who says, you have to be good to deserve love. And I was like, that is alcoholic upbringing. That is not a real thing.
yeah.
Everybody deserves
See?
love. And like, honestly, it's not about liking Kyle and if she deserves it. It's like, I would rather have bad people be happy. They're much less, they cause much less harm when they're in a happy place. And so seeing Kyle with Morgan, she wasn't harming other people last season. She was just getting stupid tattoos. It was stupid, but it was harmless. And now she's back to harming people.
Except to Mauricio, who was trying to get her a kiss from her, but he was disgusting too. Don't get a tattoo. Fuck you.
And meanwhile, I don't know if you saw the previews for the last segment of the reunion, but Kyle, who's just proclaimed, I'm not going to talk bad about people I love. And then in the preview for the next installment of the reunion, she says something to the effect of about Mauricio. She's like, I know every colonel. And everyone goes, ooh. And I'm like, you are talking like, it makes me crazy, Ramona. I feel insane.
That's why I can't give her any grace at all. That's why I don't. I withhold if you cross me. I withhold.
That's healthy, probably.
Is it?
Probably. Yeah. I mean, she's
I
not a
withhold
safe person to root for.
anything, though. I withhold she's a stranger to me.
She is. She's a stranger to everyone. Crystal's like, who are you?
Oh my
I don't
God.
understand.
You're right. I know. I don't allow any space. And this isn't about Kyle Richards. This is about me not yet being at a place where I can hold space to even think about people in a neutral way if they have any little piece that I find offensive. Does that make sense?
Of course.
And that isn't healthy. It's not spiritual. It's not evolved. I am working on it. I have to work on it in small chunks. I guess probably with people that are closer in my life than are random Bravo people, but yeah, maybe that's not that profound. I know that about me. Maybe it is a defense mechanism. Like, if you aren't, because you know why, Margie? If you are a liar, you aren't safe.
True.
And so I won't forget that you're a liar. And maybe it's part of my child of an alcoholic black and white thinking that, like, okay, liar, you're going in the bad box. And I am not going to let you into my good box, even if, like, I know if I've, like, you know, if I've, if I'm feeling nourished, body, mind, soul, I can maybe have some space and maybe I can look where Kyle comes from. But still, like, I can't in this moment right now hold any grace for her. I don't wish her harm, but I do wish her some sort of, I would like it if she was, what's between like tortured and like mildly uncomfortable? Like, I don't want to be her, but the fact that she gets to get away with this bullshit and still be employed on such a platform that she is, in the state I'm in right now, that makes me really angry. It's not fair. She doesn't deserve it. But again, who am I to say who gets to deserve what? My serenity is getting fucked with right now, not hers.
Right.
Well, it probably is, but like, she's not suffering consequences for it. And that's what's infuriating.
It is.
Except for the consequences of having to live in her own goddamn skin.
Yes. And that's real. That's real. And her whole, she's built a life around transactional love. You know, everyone who's nice to her, it's because they want to be on the show. And when they no longer feel tied to her in that way, they have no problem sending, you know, like showing the text on TV or talking about Morgan. It's like
Yeah.
you don't actually earn real friends that way.
Yeah.
Like once they get sick of you and they don't need what you have anymore or don't want it at least, then you're worthless. And that's how she lives her whole life.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Crystals, though. Crystals.
Yeah, no, those are working.
Yeah. They're like, oh my God, those crystals.
Andy continues on. He's had it.
I love it.
His tone gets so sharp and I love it.
Thank
He
God,
reminds Kyle,
finally.
he's like, he says something to the effect of Morgan has surely experienced greater exposure and recognition and fandom as a result of being on my show. And Kyle's like, everyone has a different perspective. And then Andy gives a Garcelle like, okay. Basically just saying like, you're a liar and this is going to go nowhere because you're unwilling to have any kind of real conversation. So that felt like the biggest fuck off I've ever heard Andy Cohen give a Richards.
I know, but like the biggest fuck off will be like kicking her out of this goddamn show. That's going to be the biggest fuck off.
It won't happen because he's obsessed with Kathy.
Oh, God. God, aim higher, Andy. Come on, man. Aren't you better than that? Maybe not.
By the way, I heard on some podcast that he and Anderson, I think were at Disneyland this weekend as well.
Oh, were they?
I think so.
Interesting.
Maybe I'm wrong. Who cares? Oh, and then Andy goes in harder and points out that putting out a music video with the two of you as lovers, it contributed so mightily to a conversation that was already a runaway train. And that was totally in her hands. And Kyle tries to say like, and mine too. It's like, no, it wasn't. It wasn't your song. It wasn't your production. It wasn't your, shut up. It was not in your hands. You were cast and you took the role and you guys, whatever.
I mean, they leaned the fuck in. They took those roles and they were like, oh yeah.
And she loved it.
100%.
She loved doing it. It was part of the
100%.
storyline last year. Like, I'm starting to wonder if I'm confused about my reality.
No,
like
she's
I remember how
gaslighting
much,
you.
I know, and I know that, and it's still happening.
Yeah,
I'm lost. But Andy says at some point you can't have your cake and eat it too, and that was as close as we'll ever get to Kyle being fired. But I'll take it. It was an uncomfortable moment, and whatever. And then Dorit mentions that Kyle and Morgan had said, if they're going to talk about it, let's give them something to talk about. So the two of these idiots brought this on themselves. And again, it's not even that big of a deal. People are talking about you because you're on a reality show. Like, calm down. We'll move on real quick. Everyone's talking about the White Lotus now. Nobody cares. You're so boring.
oh my God.
You don't matter that much.
Oh my God. She's so fucking high on her own supply.
And stop reading your shit then.
I know.
Go
If you're so like, everything's so unfair. She's such a fucking victim. Then stop putting yourself in there. But she can't even do that. She can't even do that. She does want her cake and eat it too. Listen, bitch, it's fucking life. It's life. Get on or get off.
And she has such a good life.
Dude.
It makes me so sad that she spends so much time twirling her mustache and making sinister plans when she could just enjoy a really, really good life.
She doesn't deserve your sadness. She does not deserve your sadness. No, you're way too good for her. She's, dude.
And then Kyle starts to try and explain about the let's give them something to talk about comment. And she goes, so what happened was, which is like the launch of every like bad punchline. And she said something, it made no sense to me. She made up something about not being able to handle one more thing, which does not answer the question about let's give them something to talk about. So again, God. I'm just in a tornado of Kyle Richards bullshit and she's worn me out.
Mm-hmm.
And then Andy asks if Dorit and Kyle have gotten the honesty and accountability they've wanted from each other. And Kyle, just the weirdest, like, why even say anything? She goes, I think that we can still work on that.
It was the most stilted, uncomfortable. Like, she seemed like she was trying to sound like a human or a human. I think this is what a human with empathy sounds like. Let me see this. I think that we can still work on that. It was astounding.
Well, she's, again, just so dumb. Like, the PK stuff is still looming. So, again, what she should have said is like, I realize I crossed a major line and that Dorit's really upset about me being in touch with her ex-husband. So I'm hopeful, but I'm not, I understand if it's not going to happen. But instead she goes, I think we can work on it. And Dorit says that, there was hope, but then the PK texting shit derailed everything. But Dorit still has some hope for this because she ends it by saying, but I also feel like it's a work in progress. And that's again where I get confused. I'm like, why do you trust this bitch? She just completely, we just spent a half an hour itemizing how she ruined your life. And now you're like, there's still hope? Why?
Why?
She hasn't changed at all. She's the same person. It's exhausting.
She's even getting worse. Again, all of these isms, whether it's, untreated adult childhood alcoholicness or untreated, cognitive dissonance, whatever, everything gets worse the longer you let it go on. Dr. Jamie said a handful of episodes back, you avoid uncomfortable conversations with your husband of 28 fucking years. If you can't be honest with your husband of 28 years, what? Yeah, I don't want to trade places with her. Whatever happens to her, I don't want to be her. She sucks, right? But if you can't do that, what is the fucking point? She's running. Morgan will never, in the words of Alison Dubois, she will never emotionally fulfill you. Know that. Nothing will. Not the bicep curls, not the tendrils, not Morgan, not being a producer darling on Bravo. Nothing will emotionally fulfill you until you face those emotions, even the ones that are uncomfortable. And she's unwilling to do it, and she sucks real fucking bad.
And she's relinquishing her producer darling status by all of these lies. And as Bose later says, like lies of omission. When you omit people and facts from your story sucks because it's incomplete and it doesn't read right. And that's how I felt about her this whole season. It's just like, that's why I know everyone had a problem with her yelling at her sister, Kim, in that first season when she said, you're an alcoholic. But to me, that was like honest and it was a complete family story, one that I recognized. And I was like, cool.
Yeah.
But now everything is there's so many text messages that went out before we shoot the scene and so many conversations off camera to make sure we're all on the same page. And it just is reading like that. Everything feels planned and stilted and weird and whatever Erica is doing in this episode.
The manipulation, the ability to manipulate yourself in order to present a certain way is getting harder and harder for her to pull off in a way that people are believing it.
And less people are willing to buy in because it's so bad. It's such a bad act. Who wants to do it? It's real bad.
Yet I don't believe that she's burning bridges with producers. I will believe that when I see it. I do not have faith that these producers work in a way that facilitates fairness or justiceness.
No, and in fairness, I want to watch it play out. Because if she stays with Morgan or if they break up, it will be a story,
Oh, God.
So,
if she broke up and she didn't have no one in the wings, no Mo.
Oh, she'll be
no daughters
that would
at
be
home.
Awful. Yeah.
Then she's going to come crawling back. I don't know. Or she'll be like, how can you kick me when I'm so down? So again, it'll be like the third season in a row. Let's say she and Morgan do break up in the off season, which I can't imagine that happening. It feels like that's it. Like
But her divorce with Mauricio will be interesting if ever they decide to undertake that.
So now she gets to have it'll be her third season in a row where she'll get to be like, this is the hardest time of my life. This is the hardest thing I've ever gone through. Like, shut the fuck up, man. We've all gone through hard things.
And she kept trying to pull that with Dorit. It's like, no. Last season was the hardest.
Yeah, exactly. Which season was it? Which season was it, Kyle?
And it just recency bias. Dorit's and PK's divorce is more recent. So
yeah,
I'm sorry you got eclipsed, but like you've had time to process and learn new parts of your identity around your divorce. And Dorit's just starting. I don't know, whatever. They're all, again, team nobody, but it just is like, I'm exhausted. Someone mentions Kyle's representation of her text relationship with PK is it's just memes and jokes. And Garcelle says it doesn't feel right. And either way, when Kyle is texting Dorit's estranged husband, when she and Dorit are not talking and he and Dorit are having strained relations, that's not girl code. Kyle's real big on girl code and needs us to believe for some reason in that.
The lady doth protest too much. If you have to scream about being that much into girl code, I have a feeling that you're not girl code.
It's just weird. And then we're
Stupid old
back
lady
on the
talking about this
stage.
shit. I'm not age shaming either. My point of saying that stupid old lady is that she should know better than this.
Well, I think what's annoying is she does. I think she's well aware of everything she's doing wrong, but she just wants us. She thinks we're stupid enough that if she says, "No, I didn't do that," that we'll be like, "Oh, okay." But like,
Oh my
I'm so
God,
exhausted
totally.
at this point that I'm like, "That's not true. I'm Garcelle." I'm just like, "Okay, can we
Yeah,
just move
totally.
on? Believe your
Totally.
lies and like let me go."
Yeah.
So Dorit asks Kyle if she can see how fucked it was for Kyle to tell Bose that Dorit can fuck off if she thinks I'm going to show her the text. This is the text that Kyle sent to PK after PK and Dorit's separation was announced.
That says,
And
I've never repeated anything you've shared with me, and I never would. Oh, God.
indicating that this is far more than memes and jokes. That indicates a history of conversations. It's like, she's so stupid. Anyways,
Girl code.
please. And Kyle claims that this wasn't just like an everyday text. I wasn't just reaching out to say hi. It's because the separation had happened. And this is when Dorit's like, I've already heard this explanation. And Kyle's like, this is my time to talk. And it's like, is it? Because we just got through a half an hour of you talking. I'm sick of you talking.
Your
and every
crystals are
word
sick of you
say is a lie.
talking. Yes.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Then Kyle says that other than that one supposedly isolated text, she says that PK and her don't really communicate like that. You know that, Dorit. So again, trying to like manipulate, control, gaslight Dorit. And then we get a flashback to some never before seen footage where Kyle tells Erica explicitly, PK tells me a lot of stuff. And she says it in like a weird, threatening way, like, I know a lot of things about Dorit through PK because we talk regularly. And eventually we find out that Kyle called on the phone, a telephone call, called PK from Oceanside to report on her fight with Dorit. And we're supposed to believe, she tries to sell it like, I just called him to tell him that there was drama. So we're supposed to believe you picked up the phone, dialed him, and said, without any emotion or insinuation, I'd just like you to know that I had drama with your ex-wife. Bye. Nuh-uh. You guys talk shit about her all night and you know it and you both got off on it and ugh.
Gross.
Right.
Oh, God. Girl code. Girl code.
And then Andy reports that on Watch What Happens Live, there was a poll asking if Kyle's text to PK was inappropriate, and it was a landslide. Yes, it was inappropriate. Andy asks if anyone on the stage is Team Kyle on this one, and there's total silence. And then Erica, again, just as deep in Kyle's butthole as she can get,
God.
regurgitates this narrative that I'm convinced they discussed beforehand, that Kyle was talking about the show and not about Dorit when she referenced, I would never repeat anything.
I don't even think Kyle believes it's about the show.
It doesn't even make sense. It's so convoluted. It's just like, I have to think too hard for that to make sense. So it doesn't make sense.
And then Sutton chimes in and says, yeah, nobody thought it was insidious. Are you kidding? Are you fucking kidding? Sutton wants a mommy, and it's Kyle. And I wonder if Erica wants a mommy too, and it's Kyle.
They're really making a weird choice.
It's embarrassing. It's gross. It's not grown-up behavior.
No,
they
it's
are
not.
not serious people, but it's like, it's also, I can't imagine kissing somebody's ass like that at my advanced age and not just going home and hating myself. However, Sutton does tend to self-medicate over her choices or just because. And Erica is clearly, I'm not sure that she's not, I will say that her behaviors remind me of the narcissist in my own life. That's what I will say, regardless of her work, in quotations, with Dr. Jen. For them. For them.
And then Bose soberly says that the issue is that it sounds like there are secrets between Kyle and PK, or secrets that Kyle is keeping from the group. And the secrets are the fucked up part. Oh, and then Andy gets Kyle to admit that she would be bothered if Dorit had sent a text message to Mo with the same content, of course.
Oh my God, it would be a whole fucking season. It would be a whole season.
Yeah. And then she tries to get off with the intentions card. She's like, it would bother me, but my intentions were not bad. It's like, well, that's stupid. That's for someone who's 20 and hasn't experienced harming people before. You've done this a million times. We've watched it season after season. So you know better now that your intentions don't matter and you need to think one step beyond that. That's maturity. That's adulthood. And you're unwilling to do that because you're rich. So may that continue to go your way.
Disgusting.
Gross. And then Dorit says that Kyle could have still abided by girl code. And then Kyle tries again to turn it on Dorit and says, where was your girl code when you read my text for millions of people to see? Dorit, it's all so stupid. And Kyle goes on and gets global. She's like, that's breaking girl code, friend code, human decency code. Human decency?
Human decency code.
We just saw the text. It was literally like, hey, I'm worried about our friendship. Can we not talk about this at the reunion? Human decency? Can I show you some of the texts that I've gotten from people who are inappropriate or angry? I'll show you a break of human decency. This ain't it.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
So stupid.
Oh my God. And so then Dorit responds and says, she reminds Kyle, listen, we weren't friends at the time. There was no code to break. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh
Yeah.
God.
Kyle's just she's going crazy. So then she takes a swipe at Dorit, saying about Garcelle and Sutton, she goes, these two who don't even like you are saying, I don't believe it. It was just she's just trying everything except the truth.
Mm-hmm.
So she's literally doing like that, close-up magic thing of like, look over here, so that the reality of what's going on is out of your line of sight. But Kyle's really bad at it.
Oh, she's terrible.
Like all I see is that you're trying to hide the truth. And often I see the truth because you're so bad at even trying to hide it. And then it's just obnoxious and a waste of everyone's time. Anyways.
Oh God, I'm so mad. I'm so mad.
And then this is when Kyle does her girl speech. I come from a family of girls. I have daughters. And does that feel like a girl texting my friend's ex-husband? Of course it does not. And I was like, well, then everything you're not forgiven.
Dude.
You did the first part, which is acknowledging you suck. And now you need to spend the rest of your life making amends for your shitty ass behavior.
FYI, the family that you're conveniently referring to right now, your mom, she was no girl's girl, dude. She was no girl's girl. She sold your sister out and she told all of you your worth will come by marrying a rich man. Her sister, Kathy, who's going to join us in a few minutes, who's in the back commenting about her lunch right now, she sounds like, according to her daughter, a terrible, terrifying, fucking asshole with devil's blood running through her. And maybe that's why she's on this show, Margie, is so that we all look over here, like you just said, the magic. She's going to hunky-dory everybody, into forgetting that she had her daughter kidnapped in the middle of the night and taken to one of those, teen torture schools, in quotations. She's a racist and she's a homophobe, too. If these are girls, fucking pass. Ew, that's what Kathy's doing. I don't know. She's not. We got it. I know. Is she that smart? Is she not that smart?
Well, but it's interesting you say that because now I'm like, I think Kyle might be that smart. I think Kyle keeps rotating her sisters through because they take the focus off her in relation to Kim, who has pretty identifiable addiction issues, and Kathy, who's just like a Looney Tunes out of touch at best. That's the kindest words I can find. It takes all the focus off Kyle. She looks like a goddamn grounded angel compared to those when she parades them onto the show and exposes all their flaws.
Oh my God.
Oh man.
Oh my God. It's like when Dorit says you're in confessional saying PK is a better friend than me. Like, what in the fuck? Kyle defends that shitty statement too. Like, Dorit says, I was not in a good place. And Kyle says, me either. And it's like, okay, so earlier in the two things to talk about with this one. Earlier in the episode, she gets pissed off when she's being interrupted by Dorit. But here she is, and she's completely within her right to do that. But then, yes, you wrote me, 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 me. It is the Kyle show, and that's it. You pull up a chair to the Kyle show, or you get out of the theater. That's it. She sucks. There are two sets of rules, and that she can't see it is enraging. I gave myself a headache right now. I literally just felt the headache kick in. She's not worth it. She's not worth it to me. I'm going to mute myself and take a sip of water and calm down.
Okay. So Dorit mentions to Kyle that she soothed and supported her when Kyle had her freak out at the spa day. And Dorit kindly says, all that mattered to me was making sure you were okay in that moment. And that seemed very humane. And actually, I believe her because they showed that moment and you see the look on Dorit's face. She looks drawn and concerned because Kyle is absolutely losing her shit. And that's the right thing to do is set aside everything. So in that moment, a person in need has a soft place to fall.
I don't like Dorit a bit. Not a bit. I understand that I am supposed to feel sympathy for her during this season. I don't even know if I'm going to work on it. We'll see, TBD, whatever. But my point is that I absolutely believed it. That day should have been about Kyle apologizing to Dorit in an authentic, genuine way. Instead, she runs after a toddler onto the streets of Hancock Park to comfort her when what the conversation was about was the text that was terrible. It was a terrible text with terrible intentions, and there were terrible things behind it that were shitty to someone who was her friend. She kicked a dog while the dog was down. She put a knife in the back and she twisted it. She was a shit to Dorit. She was shitty. And she went for PK instead of Dorit. And Dorit came out and comforted her. Oh my God. Have some shame.
Truly. And Kyle briefly does and says, I appreciated that a lot. But then on a dime, she turns right back into I did my version of reaching out to you. And at that point, the amethyst jumps off the table again and hits the floor. It's like, no.
The amethyst is like, no.
I won't be a party to this.
Yeah, you're not. No. No. Yes.
Then we get this little clip of Bose, who's on the Hot Mic podcast and called Kyle a liar. And Kyle claims she's never been accused of being a liar. That can't be true. Please.
I mean,
right?
Reddit is literally teeming with people that call her a liar.
Hello,
Ben and Ronnie. Ronnie and I could compete for how much who hates Kyle more. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
She's not pulling the wool over. I don't see Kyle defenders out in the wild at all.
Well, and I think Bose nailed it. I think Kyle tries to get off on the technicality of I've never said outright lies, like my hair is blonde. But Bose says there were omissions. Omissions equal lies. And I'm a big believer in that. And I don't think that's, taught enough or talked about enough that a lie of omission is a lie. It is a breach of trust. So whether or not you think you're actively lying at someone, you withholding something is an act of a liar. So that's how I feel, at least.
You're absolutely right, Margie. No one could see me do it, but when you said a lie of omission is a breach of trust, I pointed emphatically at you yes, that part, JadaPinkett.gif, yes.
Yeah.
Garcelle says, Dorit just wanted you to choose her. And Erica agrees with this. She said that to Kyle. Kyle, Dorit just wanted you to choose her. Erica said, I agree. And Dorit says to the both of them, no, I wanted her to be honest with me. And I think in a way that would be choosing Dorit, because it would be respecting her humanity. Listen, we might not be close anymore, but I still respect you. She sucks. She's sick.
And Kyle, speaking of how much she sucks and is sick, she denies ever talking shit about Dorit to PK, which is just impossible with the amount of conversations they've had in the course of PK and Dorit's divorce and Kyle and Dorit's estrangement as friends. So that's just bullshit. And then Kyle immediately tells a story about how PK came to an agency party And we talked about why Dorit and Kyle weren't speaking. And it's like, so you expect us to believe that you talked about the mechanics of, well, she texted on this date and I did not reply immediately. And that's it. Anyways, off to the buffet table, like bullshit. You bitched and you talk shit, you gossip. Like the two of you are assholes. Look, we've seen those dinner party scenes from seasons past. You can't help yourselves. You thrive on that energy. You come alive when you're destroying someone else behind their back, you cowards.
I was just going to say that because we've seen PK capable of having so many empathetic conversations, objective conversations about people. We've absolutely seen his capabilities about that since they've been on the show for what, 5, 6 years now? Are you kidding me? We've seen, no, she's so, oh my God.
It's just playing us for fools. And by this point, I'm literally exhausted by it.
Yeah,
I'm just like,
exactly.
can we just be done?
Exactly.
And Andy asked Kyle, have you texted PK since? And she tries to stall, but then claims she texted him when Jagger was in the hospital, which we just blow by. Like, that's not a huge fucking deal. I hope he's okay. I assume because it got no airtime, he is.
Yeah.
But that's sad. It bums me out. Like a child going through a divorce. I hope he's okay. I don't know if anyone's paying attention to these kids in a way that is, I don't know. I worry.
I know.
Anyways.
They didn't ask for this. I know.
Dorit then says it bothers her that Kyle has a friendship with PK where they tell secrets, and PK knows the information that they exchange because PK winds up relaying it all to Dorit. I'm sure it's in some hateful way when they're fighting, but she gets the information. And PK has told Dorit that Kyle called him from Oceanside to report on the drama between Kyle and Dorit. Kyle admits it, and the stage goes silent because it's horrifying. That's like calling a boyfriend. Like, that's crazy. And I stand by, I think Kyle is still in touch with PK to keep tabs on Mauricio in some ways. But
Absolutely.
It is horrifying.
Yeah. Oh my God. This made me so mad. It made me so mad when Andy's like, okay, so Dorit, Kyle, where do you go from here? And Kyle's answer, well, I just want to put that aside, not hold on to it, move forward and get to a better place. Just like, dude, she wants to put it behind her so she doesn't have to deal with it. There's no wanting to process it. That's all she wants to do is move past, put it behind, move past, put it behind. That's not how it works. That's not how it works in true friendships. Maybe with Faye, you guys can put things behind yourselves and set things to the side or whatever. Dorit clearly, for some reason, she's not that. She's not cut from that cloth. Like you wrote.
And it's a really big thing to say, let's just move past it. Let's just move past me texting your ex-husband while you're at the beginning of your separation, texting him something essentially saying, I'll keep your secrets. I always have. What do you mean? Let's move past it. Like, that's a crazy ask. Am I insane?
No.
I just feel like, where did she get so like casual about this? It's just crazy.
No. When Kyle apologizes, I think it's because she knows, like, oh my God, I finally realized, like, all of this shit that I've been talking about for the last half an hour, I'm full of shit. I'm wrong. When she apologized, it felt like damage control. It didn't feel like she really cared about her friend.
Not at all. It feels like I want this conversation to be over, and I understand that these words do that.
And it's so she can say, I apologized.
Right.
But see, you
and
can
it's on camera.
Right. So that's like, it's kind of like the lies of omission thing. Not telling the truth, breach of trust. Or not saying the full story is a breach of trust. You can say, like, I said I'm sorry, but unless you actually mean it, unless there's beef in it, like substance to it, unless it's genuine, it doesn't mean it. You can say, if I say I'm sorry, like, okay, technically I said I'm sorry. And yes, Ramona said I'm sorry. Those were the words that came out of her mouth, but I didn't actually mean the words. Like there was no, Oh my God. I'm sorry. You know
No,
what I'm saying.
isn't this what we learned in like first grade when they're
Probably.
like, go say you're sorry, and you go like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And the teacher or your parent would be like, no, take a
Mm-hmm.
breath and look them in
Mm-hmm.
the eyes and
Mm-hmm.
understand what you did hurt them and try again, and you had to stand there until you got it right.
Mm-hmm.
And Kyle's just not. She's just like, let's just move past it. Anyway, she's terrible. I
She's a
can't.
terrible
Thank God
person.
for Jennifer Tilly, a
Thank
little
God
breath
for
of fresh
Jennifer
air.
Tilly. Her hair, her makeup, her dress, her boobs, like it was all just like
And her I don't give a shit attitude was so refreshing.
yes.
All of these women take themselves so seriously, and here comes Jennifer Tilly with a fanny pack of snacks in her,
Her
you
anxiety
know,
snacks, her
dripping in
emotional
jewelry.
support snacks.
Yep.
Yeah.
And she needed them, and she used them and
She
crunched them
did.
right into the mic.
I
She
loved
don't
it.
care.
Nope.
Yeah, me too.
She comes out and we get a little palate cleanser. Andy's like, your Instagram bio says that you're a friend of. She says, people used to respect me. Now I'm the people's princess. People want to kiki with me and invite themselves to do so. She sums the show up as it's glitter and glamorous, and then there's screaming. And she just seems like she's really able to kind of have a sense of humor about it. But then now that I'm thinking about it, like when she is eating the snacks, she does have a look on her face that is like, oh, this is this does not feel good emotionally. I am also projecting 100%, but it feels like
No, she says it when Dorit and Sutton start going at it at the end. She's like sits back and says to Garcelle, like, I don't like this at all, or like, this is
yeah,
terrible.
yeah.
Like, she does look really pained. You're
You can
right.
you can see like little Jennifer, like child Jennifer being scared and protecting herself. So
Yeah.
we do see like a fashion breakdown, her greatest hits of her iconic accessories throughout the season. Her Louis Vuitton boat bag. She has a bag dealer, which is, of course she does. Oh my God, the necklace. Like her stuff has stories behind it, which is what makes her so iconic versus Kyle, who can walk into any store on Rodeo or Beverly Drive and buy whatever the fuck she wants, but she has zero imagination about it. Whereas Jennifer, it's like a natural artistic talent for her. And she gives me like excited chills. Like I want to see what she's wearing. I want to see what she's wearing on an off day. And she does talk a little bit about how like she watches back and she's like, oh God, like, was I too over the top? And I feel like the snapshot she gave us into her life, I can see how people could think it was braggadocious, but it just felt like these are the things that I get to have so much fun with. And she doesn't just go in her house and like throw them on the floor. She appreciates and she really understands the value of every piece she has. She stores them in a bank. I think Andy said that as a dig
So she
at
won't be,
Dorit.
or so she won't be robbed, because
Well,
it feels
that's
like
the
after every
thing.
one of these reunions, like someone's like, oh, all of
Right.
these items are in these homes. I'll
Yeah.
find
I
my way to
mean,
these
I mean,
homes.
Kyle got robbed. Dorit got robbed,
Yeah.
Anyway, Andy asks if the Simpsons checks are over 7 figures a year. I don't know why he had to ask that. Like, uh, uh, no shit. Yes.
Right.
Well over,
And the way she
probably.
said, I'm not going to
Yeah.
answer, it
Like,
was like,
come on.
absolutely. And then some. But I
Yeah.
did love that I guess the necklace she wears in the title shoot is known as the most important piece of American jewelry, which
Oh
I
my
would never
God.
know.
I loved
But I
it.
love the story about it. It's a one of one, and she saw it 20 years before she could afford to buy it. And I just sort of loved her honesty. She's like, I saw it, I fell in love with it, I couldn't afford it. I married well, I got a big ass settlement, and I found it, and I bought it, and now it's mine. I love that story. And there's no shame, there's nothing about any
Mm-hmm.
part of the story.
Nope.
And I just love her.
I
And
loved it.
then it's like, I want you to have that necklace. And I love that she wore it in the title sequence. That's where it belongs.
Same.
Yeah.
It's just,
great.
yeah, I agree. She can seek out art. She sees the art and the artistry and the history and all of it, the energy behind her pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle has a neon sign in her foyer. And
But
she
she
wears,
transferred from one house to another, right?
yeah,
Didn't it
and
like come with her?
unfortunately,
Yeah.
and she wears the prerequisite housewife H belt that I find so stupid. Oh, I don't know if you noticed this, but I was watching Kyle's face when I could actually pry my eyes away from Jennifer. Watching Kyle's face, Kyle hates her. Kyle is so intimidated and threatened by her, but she has to be like bitchy about it, just like sit with her feelings of probably of jealousy or envy, maybe, envy meaning, God, I wish I could be like that. Because Jennifer is so fucking unapologetic, Margie. She's so unapologetic. And Kyle doesn't know what it's like to live authentically in who you are.
And how much ease comes with it. Because
Oh my
even when
God.
they call her out saying, like Andy says, you played the middle during the show, but there was a moment in an after show where it seems like you took a swipe at PK. And she said the most beautiful thing. She said, that was tacky of me. And then she turns to Dorit and says, tell your feelings if that made you feel bad. I did not mean to impugn you. And it's so effortless. And it's just like, yeah, that was gross. Oops. Anyways, I'm sorry. Say how you feel. Let's talk it through. Kyle could never. She'd be like, you did that to me. I was in a really bad place in my life. Like, it's always like a defense or an excuse or you're worse. And it's
You're
like,
a mean girl. You're a mean girl, Jennifer. Yeah, that's what
and
she would
Jennifer
have
Tilly,
said.
I honestly believe her. I don't think Jennifer Tilly knows there's rooms at the Beverly Hills Hotel that are not $25,000 a night. I don't think she was aware.
Also, I think that you and I said, well, I for sure, I'm pretty sure I said that, like, how can he afford to stay there every night?
Even in the non-25 grand a night rooms, like that is a big bill he's racking up for himself. Anyone living in a 5-star hotel that's a commitment. Then we take a break, and as we're coming back from break, Jennifer Tilly asks Garcelle in a whisper, she goes, do you think Sutton's on some kind of anxiety medication? And Garcelle tenses up and just goes, we're mic'd. And Jennifer Tilly like backs off, and it's like, and I do think Sutton is on, because she has been quiet, and when she does talk, it's very slow. Dorit's right. She's not the person who showed up in the season. This is a very different tempo and posture for Sutton.
Is it bad?
No.
Yeah.
I take beta blockers before I perform if I'm shaking,
Yeah.
I don't think it's bad. It's just interesting that
yes.
It's any.
Oh my God.
I tell people that I take beta blockers before I perform. So everybody, if someone were to say, is Margie on a beta blocker? Someone would just say like, yeah, probably. As opposed, it's the secretive thing. It's the hiding. It's like, why is that shameful? Like, was it Ramona who fell asleep during a reunion one year? Ramona Singer?
Oh my God, did she?
Someone did, or Mary Cosby for sure did. Like, sometimes people just don't get the dosage right.
God.
But anyways, you were going to say.
No, my psychiatrist has me take beta blockers twice a day, in the morning and at night. And I guess all they're supposed to do is just calm the physical manifestations of anxiety. And I actually ask her, I'm like, I don't know, because she checks in with me every time we have an appointment. She'll be like, okay, are you taking the propranolol? And I'm like, yeah, I don't know what the fuck it's doing. Like, I can't tell if it's doing anything. But she's like, it's okay, just keep taking it. I'm like, all right. But I have so much guilt when I take my lorazepam.
Well, Sutton was given a little lorazepam energy when she finally starts talking.
Yeah.
So then we have Kathy's entrance, and like the only thing that was like, as far as what we talk about on this podcast, is the mention of Kim at the end, who is not doing well and has moved to Florida. And Kathy, these are just unrecovered people with a person with substance abuse in their life. Because Kathy says, she's doing better. Which is like the scariest look and tone of voice in the world, because it's catastrophic.
She practiced a lot, and then all her life. She practiced that tone to make everything seem okay. Yeah.
And just get everyone to get off the topic. So, but then Kyle clarifies that like, she's doing better than last time there was stuff in the press. But again, I don't know why we still shy away from being like, she is an addict who is struggling and we're hoping she's going to be okay. Like, why are we? It's fine. She's doing fine. She's in Florida and she's fine. She's fucking not at all fine.
Yeah.
Like, why do that to anyone?
I
It's
know.
so weird.
I know.
Anyways.
Oh, then we move to Sutton's sisterhood segment, and we have the flashback package to the ribbon ceremony. Then we go to the lunch where Sutton insults Dorit. Bitch gate, wallet fits. What do y'all fucking want from me? Her greatest hits, And then you wrote Sutton, who's stoned for sure, slowly explains that she wanted them to be able to get angry in the moment, but rebuild in the immediate aftermath.
So Andy reads a viewer question. that says Dorit called someone a see you next Tuesday, but what Sutton said about her misdirected anger was too low. Okay.
Mm.
And Garcelle agrees, thinking that Bose overreacted to Sutton's comment. And I appreciated Bose for stepping this out for us. She said, how did I overreact? You said the words to hurt. And Sutton slurs, oh, look at me. My notes. Sutton says, no, I didn't, not with intent. And Bose says, you chose your words. That is intention. And then she goes, the problem I'm having here, Sutton's trying to overtalk her, and she just will not have it. She drives through to say, the problem I'm having with a lot of these conversations is that you can't take accountability for your action. And then Sutton blames it on Dorit, saying, well, she cussed at everybody, and Bose has to talk to her like a 6-year-old and says, that's not the way to get someone to stop yelling.
Oh my
You
God.
don't call them a bitch and poor. That's not how you do that. Oh my God. And then Sutton briefly takes accountability, saying there's a lot of times I could say things in better ways and I could learn from that, but she doesn't. So that's a bummer. And then we have a little glimpse at Sutton's interrupting the conversation that Dorit was having as she's relaying to the women, Jaggers, the fallout of Jagger learning that PK and Dorit are separating. And Sutton says that production told her to interrupt that conversation to get them onto the Sprinter van to their next location. But Dorit was right. Like, she chose very rude words to do that. She's like, wow, you're taking a real long walk here.
Mhm.
And then like Andy offered a more sensitive way to say it. And Sutton says that she did it poorly. And Dorit says she chose those words deliberately. And I'm inclined to believe Dorit. But then Dorit starts pestering Sutton to provoke her. And she does.
Absolutely.
Give us a reunion. Why not? Sutton has been silent because I didn't even realize Kyle was so centered in this installment of the reunion that I literally forgot Sutton was there. So when Dorit started poking at her, I was like, oh, good. Yeah. Wake up the bear. Let's see what's
Oh
going
my God.
on. Poke her.
God. Oh my God.
I'm so bored of Kyle. Let's see Sutton go off.
Oh God. Yep. Yeah.
So Dorit says to Sutton, where's the girl with the evil stare who went so low all season? She didn't come today because this person is not genuine. This is not who was here all season long. And Sutton tries to say, well, where's the person who calls everyone a C word? And Dorit goes, I'm right here. And I was like, ooh.
Yeah. See, I feel like this was Dorit leaning into the energy that there were some fans out there giving, like when, the cigarette fucking out the window heard round the Bravo verse, and everyone was like, yeah, Dorit, woo, And so I think Dorit was kind of like leaning into that a little bit too much in this segment, like trying to give the people what they want. And I also think that, no, now that I think about it, but she was like, where she was pushing back with Kyle earlier, she was doing it with her intellect versus this is going like low blow. She's low blowing the entire time, the rest of the time that they're having conversations. Like she's trying to.
She wants a reaction out of Sutton.
Yeah. And so,
unfortunately, Sutton is apparently primed to
I
give
didn't like
it.
it at all. I didn't like it at all.
But in fairness,
I don't like Dorit.
I know.
And I
But
shouldn't
Andy
like
does-
Sutton.
Well, no, it's not about should or shouldn't. It's just like, the next piece of evidence presented is the wallet comment,
I
which was
know.
shitty and indefensible. And Garcelle says she couldn't defend Sutton on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle claims she was shocked and disgusted, especially by the doubling down about it in the confessional, which is added insult to injury.
Yeah.
And then Kathy prompts Sutton to remind Sutton to say on the reunion that you weren't proud of that. And Sutton does. And then this was weird. I don't know if you caught that. Sutton says to Dorit, the only thing you called me in a confessional. And Dorit starts to fill in the sentence at the same time. But Sutton says, you did call me an alcoholic. And no one anywhere in this whole segment has brought up anything about her drinking. This is about her making like harsh comments. And Sutton's the one who's like, you did call me an alcoholic. But we blow right past it because Dorit says, oh, when I said the only thing money ever bought you was a horse and not a date. And Sutton goes, yeah, that wasn't nice either. I'm like, Sutton, where are you? I wanted to shake her by the shoulders at this point.
Yeah.
I'm like, Dorit is coming for you.
But then Dorit says, do you think you deserved it? That's the wrong answer. That's the
She
wrong.
is just trying to get a reaction.
Right. See, but this is the thing. She won't talk like that to Kyle because she knows Kyle has power to obliterate her.
I feel like she talked like that to Kyle.
Ye-
Because Kyle tried to come at her and say, like, you came in to try and save your job this season. And Dorit was like, you're
Mm,
close with producers. You would know. Was I
that's
trying to
true.
save my job?
That's true.
You'd know better than
That's
I
true.
was.
You're right. You're right. Do you think you deserved it? I just don't.
Oh, it's terrible.
Dude.
Again, this is another, it's like the 4th of July barbecue all over again. It is
Oh,
team nobody central.
Team nobody,
It's
right.
just like Dorit is poking the bear and she's relentless.
Yeah.
She will not stop until she gets a reaction. And poor Jennifer Tilly loudly unwraps some little snack to
Her
comfort
emotional
herself.
support snack.
I
Yeah.
know. And then Dorit says this shitty comment, which made no sense to me. She's like, you live on a main road. And I'm like, she lives on a main road in Bel Air.
In Bel Air.
Have you seen the main roads in Bel Air? Probably not, because not a lot of people traffic them because there's 4 houses total up there.
And there's gates, significant gates.
And it's not a main road like the 101.
Yeah.
Like the closest is the most gorgeous part of Sunset.
Dude.
Like that's the closest main road you can get to. Good
Queen
luck
of Sheba.
finding fault with that.
Her house is fucking gorgeous. It's
Ah.
also like it's down a long ass driveway. There's big ass fucking boxwood hedges.
And it's a
Beautifully
gorgeous home in
it's
Bel Air.
A gorgeous old
Stop.
home.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Dorit. You're just jealous, man. Fuck
I don't know
you.
what she is, but this was a weird line of. But again, I
Yeah.
think she's just making sense. It's like hitting pots and pans together just to try and wake Sutton up and piss her off. Because then she starts talking about like, I'm happy where I live, and it's like, well, you might not live there long, so like, don't stand on that.
Oh my
too
God,
long.
this was so mean. She was so mean.
And then yeah, she says there's a hell of a lot more than a big bank account. Dorit says, my life is full of love. There's a hell of a lot more than a big bank account, but you have to be nice in order to get love. And I was like, yeesh, that's disordered thinking. And Sutton claims, again, she's just talking slowly and it's weird. She's like, I know there's more to life than a big bank account. And then Dorit keeps trying to bang pots and pans to wake up Sutton by saying she doesn't understand why she thinks she's superior to everyone and that Sutton tries to buy people.
Oh, she doesn't, dude.
And well, it woke Sutton up. She finally got what she was after because Sutton sort of comes to life and takes on her signature stare and, tilts her chin down and looks up her eyes and says like, who have I tried to buy, honey? And then Dorit got what she wanted and responded exactly as she'd probably imagined in her head a million times by saying, oh, here she comes.
Yeah.
And it was really taunting and terrible.
Like you say, team nobody, but fuck Dorit. That's all I have. I just can't. She's not good at it. That's the thing. She's not good.
She's just flailing, but again, it's banging pots and pans
Yeah.
until it worked, and it did. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, Sutton isn't skilled enough just to say like, "Hey, idiot, shut up.
Yeah.
You're gonna come at me for living in Bel Air, okay?" Like I
And-
can't.
Ugh.
Yeah.
The misogyny too. Like it takes love. Like you're not worthy of love. You're older. You're not as cute. Listen, her kids love her. Sutton's kids love her. Reba loves her in her own stilted way.
Yeah,
You don't think her kids love her?
I don't know. She's an
Oh.
alcoholic. Remember when she brought her daughter to that party and
Yeah.
Sutton's at the bar saying like, fill her up. And then we never see her daughter again. And I was like, oh man, again, I protect everything because I've been the
Sutton's your
kid at the
dad.
party with the alcoholic at the
Yeah,
bar.
yeah.
And you sit in a corner and you wait to do
Oh yeah, dude.
damage control because you know they're going to fuck something up. And then you're going to have to be the one to take them home and
I just
take them out of the shirt that they threw up in and the drive home. And I don't trust that Sutton's, the way she treats Avi is not cute. Like the way Bose and Nico interact, like that home is filled with love.
Yeah.
Sutton's home is harsh and like a little scary, and it just, and I don't know if Dorit was, I hope she wasn't talking about having a partner because she doesn't have one.
She does not have a partner.
But I don't think that's what she was talking about.
I really hope not. Felt
I
like,
don't think I would hope she's not trying to throw PK in anyone's face.
and
That's
she
a bad
devalued
choice.
everything that Sutton did in her marriage to support her husband as he, climbed whatever ladder he did to become as rich and successful as he was. She was like, she said something about the lump of money that Sutton got. Yes, it is an obscene amount of money that she gets every month from her husband, but she was there to raise the kids while he was earning it and building a life.
But there's a
building
difference
his
between the
career.
way Jennifer Tilly handles her unearned, supposedly wealth. Because Jennifer Tilly's like, I thank Sam every day.
Yeah.
And Sutton's like, this is mine. I did this. And it's like, no, but you both did.
I mean, I guess so, but it's like, I think that she probably feels like she has to defend herself because so
I'm
many
sure
people
that's-
probably do assume that she just like fell into all this money. It's like, I don't know. Oh
Yeah.
God, why am I simping for fucking Sutton Strack?
So many people do. So many people do. I know I'm in the minority and being just like, yeah, I just really struggle with her. But
I just think Dorit is she's taken just low blows, but
yeah, team nobody, 100%.
Team nobody,
And
team
yeah,
nobody.
and you can imagine, I imagine her fights with PK were similar, where
yeah.
the two of them would not leave each other alone till it was explosive and awful, which is why they should be divorced. But
Oh my God.
it's a dark pattern.
It's dark.
And it doesn't just stop because you stop being married to one person. That's how you fight. So Dorit's showing us that, and it's not good.
It's not good.
No.
It's terrible. I'm sorry. I did not mean to yawn.
No,
I'm not Dorit at a reunion. My brain needed oxygen.
No, it was Andy who always yawns.
Andy always yawns.
At Dorit.
At Dorit.
Whenever Dorit's talking. I'm Dorit.
Dude, no, you're not.
You yawned.
I yawned because I've
I'm
walked
teasing you 'cause you've been at
28,000 steps 2 days ago at Disneyland.
And you've been at Disneyland for 2 days straight from open to close.
Yesterday was like 15,000 or something. I remember being like, what? It's not 28 again?
My God.
Ramona, what the hell? Friend, what else did you watch this week?
I'm behind, but I watched Summer House. I haven't watched this week's episode yet, and I love it still. I watched Atlanta. This was the episode where Kenya makes a very poor choice and gets herself fired.
Kenya.
And then of course the White Lotus season finale. That's the only thing I've been able to think about. So that's all that's on my mind. Oh, and I did see the trailer for whatever the show is with the Bravo celebs kids in Manhattan. And I can't wait. It looks ridiculous and amazing. And it's like Riley, Brooks Marks, Giudice, whatever, and some random friends that they make in New York.
God, is Avery Singer on it?
I don't think so. She's too old. These are all like fresh out of, like early 20s babies in New York City. But watch the trailer before.
Is it going to be on Bravo or Peacock?
Bravo.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it looks great.
Wow.
I don't know. I'll watch anything, of course, but the trailer was very compelling. Oh, and that Zolciak girl, I forget her name. Which one? Sorry.
Oh, shit. It's on the tip of my
doesn't
Brielle.
Right.
Tragedy. Brielle. Anyway.
What did you watch this week?
White Lotus, for sure. Josh had to leave for a business trip. He left for the same trip that Leo and I met him at. He left on Sunday morning, and I looked at him, and I was like, very frank. I was like, I hope you know that this finale, I was like, I'm sorry, you are on your own. I apologize-ish. And he's like, I get it. But luckily he was so busy, he didn't hear anything about it. So I'm going to rewatch it with him tonight.
Oh my God, he still hasn't seen it?
He still hasn't seen it. No.
That's miraculous.
I know.
Josh, what
I know.
great, what discipline.
Well, that's just how busy he was. And then, when you're staying at a hotel, and we also, we couldn't log into the Macs on the fucking, devices. And so it was just a whole mishigas. But so we'll watch it tonight. I'll rewatch it with him.
That'll be great.
Yeah.
It'll be fun to rewatch it.
100%.
Yeah.
Especially when I don't have travel anxiety on the brain. Yellow Jackets, which again, I'm starting to think like this show really fucking lost the plot, unfortunately, because it really was so good.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. More will be revealed. That's it. And then on the plane home today, I watched this, but I was too busy to watch TV.
Good.
I know. I guess
What a
so.
great week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was your antidepressant, friend?
My antidepressant was I went to a screening a couple nights ago for some people are making a documentary about the Pat character from Saturday Night
Oh my
Live. So there
God.
was a screening at this theater downtown of It's Pat, the movie from the 90s, and a Q&A with Julia Sweeney and the makers of the documentary after, and it was amazing. First of all, the movie was, like, hilarious, and it is the intention behind the character, the androgyny of it all was like a last-minute joke layered on at the end of the first time the sketch aired, and then Lorne Michaels and Roseanne Barr, of all people, thought the funniest part of it was the androgyny part, and so that's how the thrust of Pat became that whole, "What is he or she?"
Mm-hmm.
anyways. But the movie is really Julia Sweeney's vision of Pat, where Pat's, like, annoying. Pat's fucking unsympathetic and annoying and self-centered and terrible, and Pat goes on a whole journey through the movie, and it's great.
I can't
And
wait.
Dave Foley plays Pat's love interest, and like, what an amazing actor. Like, I laughed so hard. I loved it. I thought it was really good. And then in the Q&A, Julia Sweeney talked about how that movie was devastating to her because it started the beginning of a really terrible chapter in her life. She said they invented the Razzie Awards for that movie so they could award her worst actor, worst writing, worst movie. And then after the Razzies, her brother was diagnosed with cancer, moved in with her and died in her house. And her life just absolutely crumbled. And then she got emotional saying she's so glad she made the movie because there's so many people in it who have since passed. And she was so pleased to see them on a big screen and, and that it's brought up this conversation in an era. Pat can be a teaching tool.
Mm-hmm,
These
mm-hmm.
documentarians are all members of the LGBTQ community who are, Pat informed their upbringing in some way or another, positive or negative or both. Anyways, it's just like a really beautiful look at like how art changes over time, and it's just important that you make it. And the Razzies are funny now. Like that's a funny thing to look at,
Yeah.
but it
Yeah.
sucks when they were founded for your
Yeah.
so that they can pan
Oh,
your
that's so
ass.
cruel, dude. Julia Sweeney she's such a treasure and kind.
She's
Oh,
wonderful, and she said she was so nervous for the movie to be shown on a big screen like this because she's of course, parts of it do not hold up, but a lot of it does, and you can really see the pure intention behind she was a groundling. You can see the groundling's character in there that on Saturday Night Live got layered with like, this is a one joke androgyny character, but it wasn't ever. Anyways, it
mm,
was fascinating.
oh my
So that
God.
that was my antidepressant,
I want
was
to
a
see
night
that.
with good friends. It's weirdly really funny. I don't
Oh,
know.
I'm
I don't know what to say. It
sure.
was great. Yeah. What was your antidepressant?
Well, for sure it was like the last 2 days. My son and I took him to Disneyland. I grew up going. It's just got a huge part in my heart. It's a nostalgia thing. Um, I'm not 100% on board with current day Disneyland. You know, the way you have to do it. I don't like having to be on my phone the whole day to check in for rides or reserve rides, all that bullshit. It's way too crowded than it was when I was growing up. But um, to spend 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. with my 9-year-old, holding his hand, watching him go on rides that were scary, that he was nervous to, and then the minute he started getting like excited about like when he faced his fear and like just told me about his experience writing it and all the pictures, and we kept telling each other all day, I'm so glad I get to be here with you specifically. This day is so great because we're here together specifically. And to get slap happy by the end of it, it was amazing. And then the second day we went, my cousin and her son met us, and our sons are around the same age, like very close in age. And my cousin and I grew up going there together. Like that's when we all went together with her mom, who was my aunt, and our grandma. I was pinching myself all day. And we were just like marveling at how adorable these children were. And Disneyland at night with my cousin and our two kids with smiles on their faces that are like truly just joy, unbridled joy. I don't know. Like, it was fucking amazing. I can't believe I got to do this week. My husband spoke at a conference across the street and I got to make this big, beautiful thing out of it.
I love
And
that.
me too. I'm so grateful.
I'm
Hmm.
so glad it was a great experience. I
Yeah,
really am.
me too. Me
That's
too.
so, yeah. And now you
Yeah.
must rest
Oh my God, I
because I
must
feel like your
rest.
voice and your 600,000 steps or
Oh my
your
God.
body and all parts must be exhausted.
I mean, I Sherpa'd around wet clothes and ponchos so I wouldn't get wet, and I got wet anyway. And anyway, it was just really,
What was your favorite ride at this stage of
uh,
life?
I still ride all the like, I'm a dopamine addict, dude. Like, you know me,
Yeah.
I want thrills. And so I still like all the roller coasters for the most part. I can't do, my cousin and I rode Matterhorn last night, and I'm like, dude, I'm done. She's like, I'm done. I can't. It's abusive. That ride is
It
physically
is.
assaulting
Why
now,
won't they fix it? Why won't
dude.
they? It's
I don't
so much
know.
harsh. My spine hurts just
Yeah,
thinking about
my
it.
knees, like my neck, everything, and I've been saying that for years, but I think I'm going to stick to it now.
It's so fun though.
It,
Just the bobsled of
I
it all. It's so
know.
stupid and it's the big thing in the middle of the park. Like it's
Yeah. Oh, I just love that goddamn Matterhorn.
me
Um,
too.
uh, I had never ridden Guardians of the Galaxy before. Because I'm also like, I am not into Marvel. I don't know the difference between Marvel and whatever the other one is. DC, is that it?
Mhm.
My point is that we both rode Gardens of the Galaxy for the first time, and I thought it was super fucking charming and adorable.
Aw.
Yeah, it was fun and scary, and it was great to do something new there. Yeah, that was my favorite, I think. Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Disneyland California Adventure. Not a fucking fan. It's way too overstimulating. It's way too crowded. So many grown-ups just getting faded all day in the hot sun. Pass.
Yeah,
Ugh,
I'm a classic Disneyland
me
type of
too.
girl,
I think
but
if you grow up in LA and you grow up going to OG Disneyland, that's just how it is,
yeah,
you know?
that whole other side of it is like, what's that
Yeah,
for?
it's like still
Someone
new, even though
else.
it's been there for like well over 20 years.
I know.
I know.
It's
I'm like,
wild.
what? Oh,
Oh, no, go have a hot tea.
I know.
Everybody, take good care of yourselves,
Yes.
and we will talk next
Yeah, we'll
week.
talk next week when we close out The Real Houses of Beverly Hills. Last
Yay.
installment of the reunion. Okay, I'm so happy to see you, Margie, though. I'm
You
really
too.
glad. I
Welcome
was looking
home.
forward to this. Thank you. Thank you. All right, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Ramona and Margie are obviously not doctors and do not provide medical advice. Their content is intended to be used for entertainment purposes only. It is not intended to be, should not be interpreted as, or used as a substitute for medical advice or a diagnosis of any health or fitness problem, condition, or disease, nor a recommendation for a specific test, doctor, care provider, procedure, treatment plan, product, or course of action.
My mom isn't a doctor.